Do you think getting job overseas is easy? Please think again. Hello, how are you doing? Barnabas here. Hope you're doing well. Last week we talked about the story of Joe, and we understood how settling in Australia can be very, very difficult and overwhelming. Not a very good story though, but out of it we learned how it is good to connect to people, to get help, and importance of some things in the process of settling here, importance of getting connected, importance of finding help and being able to connect with people who can help you to settle here in Australia. And today we're going to talk about job market. How easy is it to get a job when you land in Australia? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, give these videos like, share them, and follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and other social media platforms. Most people expect that when you arrive in Australia, you will get a job the following day. In fact, in the minds of some people, they would think that when you walk out of your house, you will see, job vacancies, lots of advertisements for jobs saying vacancies, we need workers, and so on. And they think that it's just going to be very easy to go get even casual work, going to be very easy to just walk out of your house and get a job. Well, that's not the case. Even the casual jobs, you really have to be strategic to be able to get a job when you land in Australia. And while it's not impossible to get a job as soon as you land in Australia, it is not very easy. It's not very straightforward that you will get a job the following day, the first week, or even the first month. You have to be intentional. You have to be very strategic to be able to get a job that quick. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about what you need to do to be able to get those jobs. But before we talk about that, please note that in Australia, most of the employers would prefer people who have Australian experience. All right, it's called Aussie experience. This is just somebody who's already worked in a company, a similar position, a similar experience in Australia, and so it will be very easy for them to adopt into their new job. So most of the employers would want that Australian experience. All right, but since you're from overseas, you're new here, then you don't have that kind of experience. Another thing that some employers insist on or employers prefer is to get a local reference. Some employers would want somebody who has worked with you, who is able to talk about your work experience, is able to talk about how you work, your work ethics, and so on. And so if you don't have a local experience, and obviously because you're coming from overseas, this is going to be your first job, then they might be hesitant to give you a job. But it might be also be very lucky to get people who, employers who are not really fussy or not really specific on the local references. Something else is full working rights. There are employers who only prefer those workers who will have full working rights, who are not limited. For example, if you're a student, you're only allowed to work a certain number of hours because your objective or your focus is to do your studies. So some employers might not want to give you a job because they will only have you for a certain number of hours, and they will have to look for somebody else to fill the remaining hours. Okay, so some of the employers would only prefer those who are able to work unlimited hours. All right, so as international students, then that would be a little bit a disadvantage for you. So those who have full working rights, like permanent residents, citizens, so those who are not students then might have a upper hand in getting this kind of jobs, especially for employers who are looking for workers who have full working rights. Something else is, certifications that are required in certain fields. For example, if you're looking for disability, then if you're coming from overseas without a certificate 3 in disability or aged care, then you might find it difficult to get certain jobs. There are some employers who might give you a job, but majority of employers who are looking for workers will want specifically for you to have those kind of certification. And that applies to other areas as well. There's some jobs that they will need specifically some certification. So if you're new here and you haven't done that certification, then you might not qualify. You might not get that job really easy. Some other things are things like, driving license. Are you having a driver's license? Because some jobs will require that you're able to drive, things like that. Okay, so if you have driver's license, a valid driver's license, then that's a plus for you. All right, and the sooner you get to Australia and you're able to change your driver's license to Australian driver's license, even the better for you. Okay. All right, before I give you some strategies to apply when looking for jobs when you land to Australia, I'll also discuss about some barriers. Number one is poor networks. Okay, when you come to Australia and you're not quickly able to network with others, from where you're coming from or friends here, and so if you're not able to quickly integrate and build networks, it will be difficult for you. Suppose you're looking for a job in a field and you're able to network with people who have already done that. They've already known several companies hiring. Some of your networks might even know companies that hire workers regularly. And so it's easy for you when you get a network and you try to ask around, how can I get a job? How can I get this kind of job? How can I do this? They help you to navigate. So the quicker you have a network here of people around you. Another one is poor job search strategies. Some people think that just like you do back home, you print your CVs and you go door to door looking for a job. That might not work here. Okay, so I will talk much about this when I'm giving my example, how I struggle getting my first job. If you don't have a better strategy of looking for a job or applying for jobs, you might take a long time before you get your first job. Something else is culture shock. There are things that are done here differently at places of work. Even your interviews, they don't really care so much about looking at your papers on that interview date. All right, things like that. But there's a particular way of how you can express yourself on interviews. All right, so things like that, culture shock, a different culture altogether. The quicker you learn the culture around here, the faster it will be for you to get a job. And also visa limitations. If you're international students, for example, you will be limited at kind of jobs that you do. For example, if you're going to school during the day and an employer wants to give you a shift during the day, then it should be difficult. You probably would want just jobs that you can do in the evening, late in the evening, or just when you don't have classes and things like this. So you might, be limited on what kind of jobs you're able to do. Now, let me go to my personal experience. When I landed in a small town called Townsville, in my mind, I thought as an accountant, I would just come here, print my CV, go to town and knock indoors, and maybe I would get somebody who could give me a chance for an interview. And so that's what I did. We settled down and I started printing, my CVs, went to town and started knocking doors, offices. And people would look at me weirdly, like I'm doing something really bad. I just didn't know that that's not the culture there, So I looked for work. I would talk to people. They would think, oh, what? You're looking for a job? No, we don't have anything. And so I went round and round and round looking for an opportunity for an interview, and I didn't get any. I went the first day, second day, I was just very, zealous. I went to other places, and I couldn't get any breakthrough. Not even one person was willing to give me a chance for an interview. And then one day, a friend of mine came in our house, and then we were talking about the experience of looking for a job, and he told me, sincerely, Barnabas, this is what you have to do. Shelf this accounting thing for a while, all right? I would like you to be able to go to disability service providers in this and this company, look for this kind of jobs for now, just for a while, right? Do this kind of job, try this out, and if you're able to get, for example, a disability job, do it for a while, and then this kind of jobs, you will just get some networks and be able to find an accounting job, but it might not be something that you will get immediately. All right, I took that advice and I went and approached a disability service provider company, and I got a job and I started working there. And I also, those who have known my story, I've also done quite a number of other jobs before I started doing accounting again. All right, so sometimes the strategy might not be straightforward of you coming straight away and doing the kind of job that you're looking for. You might have to do a couple of other things that are totally different, some things that you have never imagined doing. But if you're flexible enough, then it will quicken your settling, because while you're looking for that specific kind of job, the bills are coming, the bills keeps coming. You need some money to settle your bills and to continue living before you finally settle into your preferred job. All right, look, as I said, you need to just be strategic. Some things that are important is, please come, network. All right, be patient with yourself, be ready to humble yourself. Are you able to do this kind of jobs like cleaning? Are you able to do disability support work? Are you able to do aged care? Are you able to do, have I said cleaning? Are you able to do kitchen hand? Things like this. It doesn't matter what kind of job you've been doing back home. Are you able to humble yourself to start right there? And then slowly by slowly, once you get some money to settle, pay your bills, you can start slowly working towards getting back to the kind of jobs that you prefer. I'm not saying that everyone will have to do this kind of jobs, but majority will find themselves doing this kind of jobs before you finally get the career job that you prefer. So be willing to start small, all right? Even if it's a poor paying job, for the sake of bills, please take it. Continue, start doing, build there, and you get a better job, you move to a better job, and you move that way. You get 1, 2, 3 jobs, you have a choice, and then you move further and further towards what you really want. Okay? Also, please remember to do the certifications that are required. For example, as I've said, some of the disability service providers might not give you a job if you don't have certificate 3 or 4 in support work or aged care. All right, so if you're able to do some of those certifications, are 6 months, things like that. So just enroll and do it while you're doing something else. So whatever certification that you have to do to get your feet on the door, please do it. In tomorrow's episode, we are going to talk about accommodation. How do you get your first house when you first land in Australia? But for today, please comment in the comment section below if what I've talked about resonate with you. If you're already here in Australia, how were you able to get your first job? All right, are things that I'm talking about making sense? If you're planning to come to Australia and have any question regarding what we have talked about, please let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, give these videos like, share them, and follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and other social media platforms. All right, till we meet tomorrow, my name is Barnabas, the son of encouragement. Bye-bye, and God bless you.